So welcome back, it's Jackie, hello, with my second tag bag for Mrs. Cog's design team, June, I guess. As I said before, I was really excited and absolutely love working with these kits. This one is Yellow in the Garden, and this is one of my altered bags with tags. You may have seen previous videos for similar things. I really love making these at the moment. I've teamed it up with some old scrapbook paper that I had in my stash. I think it was My Mind's Eye Indie Chick, I think this one was called, but it's really old, so I don't expect you can get that anymore. I've cut bits out of the kit, I've downsized some of it. I've even used a tiny little piece of one of the flowers in this locket, which is on the charm, and that does open, and there's a little bit of glossy accents on there as well, so it's quite pretty. Again, I've used the same format as the other bags, so that's a button card, and obviously this is one of the images from Yellow in the Garden, as is that on my frame tag. Back onto I've got lace trims, a little bit of metal here, one of these homemade stamps on here, and a little bit of vintage sari silk and lace behind there. And again, there's a whole load of tags in here. These will be going into my Etsy shop. They'll probably be a bit more expensive than the last ones that I did, simply because there's more in them and there was more work involved. I will try and post them as large letter. I'm in the UK and large letter is the cheapest way I can do it, but they won't go as the whole bag. I'll have to take the tags out and pack them separately. So anyway, you can decide at a later point if anybody's interested. So I have one of my tracing paper prints decoupaged over some book page on here with a little tag and lace decoration on there. I've used one of the images on the front of this envelope and a couple of cards on the inside, and these are backed onto inked paper where what have I done? I've sort of stenciled. I think Jibbid did this technique. So you basically spray your papers with ink, wet them and place the leaves down. There's a link below for her channel, and her tutorial is on there. This is a Edith Holden envelope with one of the beautiful images, and again in here I've just put together the leftover bits of the kit. This is quite a large kit. Mrs. Cog's images are so beautiful and the kits are such good value, and you can use them in so many ways. This is the postcard, and I've put a Tim Holtz chat thing on there, and that's my own stamp. This is a journal card that I've decorated with some scraps of linen and lace, a button, vintage button that time, and a little bit of flourish there, and that's again on some of that sprayed and leaf stamped paper. This is the equivalent of a tea card, which I've made from one of the printables. I've downsized it and cut it out and used it in that way. This I've included in here. Obviously the majority of this isn't Mrs. Cog, but I have used a scrap of paper from one of the printables just to decorate that across there. And on the back I've put a little pocket, again using one of her printables from this kit. This is the Tracy Fox hanging tag that I've made from the kit. This paper is from the Indie Chick, and then this is in Mrs. Cog's kit. Again, a really beautiful picture that I didn't really want to alter too much, so that's just stitched to some of the paper. This is the image again that I used on the cigarette card type. This is probably its actual size. I may have cut it down a little bit, and that's just layered up onto a journal card with, as you can see, book page, bit of lace and a bit of bling. This is printed tracing paper glued over an inventory tag. This is one of the most beautiful images, I think, in the kit, and I've just stuck that onto a tag, covered it with some vellum. Again, there's another little saying on there, and some sari silk and a charm just to finish that off. And a final journal card with one of the bird images from Yellow in the Garden. And again, I've layered that up with some bits of fabric and lace, and put my dyed paper on the back. So those are my altered bags with tags for Mrs. Cogg's design team in June. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.